Anyway, just got to clear my head. So this is the title. It's just like a little quick about some things that I came to a conclusion. Now, I said nobody cares. Now, well, show you something. Right here, a little thinking rock. So I come out here a lot, and I sit in my front yard. Sometimes I wait on my kids to get out of school, and I get to and make my surely content creator on YouTube and Patreon and all of that good stuff, and working on writing books and little columns and things like. But anyways, when I say nobody cares, it's not necessarily a bad thing. What you gotta understand about nobody caring is that people can watch you in the street, and if you're hurt or something like that, they can just walk past you without any remorse or nothing like that. No, that's not what it means. When I say nobody cares, that's the attitude that you have to have when there's some things that you want to accomplish in your life, whether that be marriage, whether that be kids, whether that be success, as far as your job or career, going to school, whatever it is that you want to, whatever it is that you want to do in your life for you, you have to understand that nobody cares what you want to do as an individual. And a lot of people get that twisted. A lot of people don't understand because they want somebody to care. They want that recognition or that validation for whatever it is that they're doing. They want to feel validated in what they're doing by other people, and they want the recognition from other people, because in validation and recognition, that gives this sense of accomplishment, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, you feel 10 times more accomplished because there's people that say, "Oh, you're doing a great job," or "Oh, I love the work that you're doing." And if that's what you're looking for, then you're always going to be at the mercy of the general public. And the general public is as fickle as you can possibly imagine. One minute they love you, the next minute they hate you, the next minute they're not paying attention, the next minute they are paying attention, but they is the seeking validation, whether that's from need validation from those people. It's nice to have it, and if they give it to you, then you can graciously accept it. But if they don't give it to you, it should not sway whether or not you want to continue on the project or continue whatever it is that you want to do, because accomplishment and success are different from everybody, or for everybody. There's a lot of people out there that feel like going to college and graduating. That's an accomplishment. That's success to them. And then there are other people that say you college is trash and don't go. And if you are one of those people that are seeking validation, if it's somebody that's close to you and they say college is trash, don't go, and you're already in college, then you're gonna feel like you need to change that. You're gonna feel like you need to drop out of school and you need to do something else different with your life as far as that goes. And that's not the case. That's not the case. That's not what they wanted to do with their lives. They didn't want to go to college, or they felt like college was a scam, and they weren't able to use it to its full potential because that wasn't their lane. And people have a hard time not projecting. I think it's a human thing. It's like a human character trait, or whatnot. It's something that it takes practice to get around. Because if you don't practice it, then naturally you're going to project a lot of discipline, a lot of being cognizant of the people that you're talking to, in order not to project your reality onto them and give a non-biased opinion, right? And in your mind you're like, oh well, that's why therapists go to school, and this is what therapists do. No, not all therapists. I would say a healthy portion, I'm not going to, of therapists project their lives onto other folks, and that's what they talk to them about, because in some facets that creates a bond. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bond with you because I'm going through this thing, and you've just told me that you go through this thing, so now I can trust you as a therapist, and we can start having some real conversation. And that's not always good, and that doesn't always work for everybody, which is why when people are like, did you go to therapy, would you like to try therapy, and this, that, and that. They throw therapy out there in a weaponized type way, and it's like, well, therapy is a myriad of different things. It's not just going to talk to somebody who's a licensed professional for your problems. And even in that, that's a problem, because some of the people who uh, would offer therapy to you, or some of the people who tell you you need to go to therapy, those are the same people that told you you don't need to feel validated by a degree. You don't need to feel validated by a piece of paper that says that you can do this. Well, guess what? Guess what makes that therapist licensed to talk to you? Yeah, that same piece of paper that you just told the other person not to agree with. And see, this is what, because I rant, right? I rant a lot because there's so many things that run through my head, because people they're always talking. They're always talking. They never listen. They're always talking, and they always have answers to everything it is. Everything you can possibly imagine, they got the answer to it. Whoever it is that you talk to, especially people who are arrogant and stuck in their ways. And they will tell you all of these things. And then when you ask them simple questions that rebuttals whatever their ideology is, that's when they have an issue. Now they're like, what do you mean? You know, what is this is trash. This is terrible. This, no, you shouldn't be in this, and the government is all of this, and they're conspiracy theorists when it's something that's in their direction. But when it's opposing to them, then they get silent. And now they rebuttal with something that has nothing to do with the argument at hand. That's in the rebuttal to whatever it is that they gave you. So now, rewinding all the way back. Sorry, running all the way back, you got to get rid of that mindset that you need validation from people in order to continue on trying to accomplish whatever that thing is. And it starts at a very young age. It starts when you're a kid, because as children seek validation from their parents. So if you've never been one of those ones that got validation from your parents as a child, um, I got validation from my mom to a small degree, because my mom worked a lot, right? And she worked a lot to provide for us. So there were things that I did, like when I played basketball, she wasn't at any games, you know, but I did have people there that I loved and cared about that came to my games, and it didn't necessarily make up for my mother not being there, but what it did was it taught me a valuable lesson later on in life. Now, as a kid, I couldn't see none of these lessons. As a kid, I was just mad because, you know, I ain't got nobody. I don't have my parents there with little colorful signs and pom poms jumping around in the same neighborhood. Or I got a couple of people, you know, from my school, from my high school or something that's coming to. I remember this one time that I had my teachers from my eighth grade. They came, my two teachers came to my game, and they cheered me on. And you know, that game, I was actually able to play a lot harder just knowing that I had somebody there cheering for me, and it made a vast difference. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you have to take some time as an adult to look back. You're done. You're done reading. You have to take some time as an adult to look back on your childhood and see where you had some shortcomings, where you had some shortfalls, what things bothered you as a kid. Were there some times in your life where you felt like a parent or guardian or sister or brother should have been there for you and they weren't, and you kind of just locked that thing inside. You don't know you're locking it inside as a child, but when you look back as an adult, I can tell you I locked it in a lot of anger, a lot of aggression, a lot of hate towards a lot of situations, because I could look around me and see the field trips and this, that, and the third, and I was poor, and I couldn't do a lot of the things that I wanted to do because I was poor, and that made all the difference in the world when you watch your peers be able to do something that you can't do, and the reason why you can't do it is simply because of money, not because you're not talented, not because you're not able. Hold on one second, folks. You gone? You gone? All right. Be safe. Yeah, if there's one in there, be safe. Yeah, come on. You gotta say hi to the people.
Hey, people.
This is my daughter, Pride Me.
Hello.
Anyways, I'm on my talking rock side. Love you too. Hey. Go inside and open it from the inside. So, anyways, um, those are the things that you gotta take inventory, right? When people say take inventory, they never really explain it to you about what you're supposed to take inventory about. When you're supposed to take inventory about your life, the experiences that you had, the shortcomings, the shortcomings, the failures, the success. Are there things that you can look back on and say, I was successful at this thing, as a teenager, or this relationship was awesome. What was awesome about this relationship in high school? And then this is now life done hit me. Real life is this. Yeah, well, words are spells, right? On this channel, I talk about that a lot. Shout out to Silas, the wise servant, for dropping that jewel. As I never really took the time to sit down and process that we speak a lot of the things into our lives. And the more you speak something, yeah, it is. Yeah. Um, a lot of the things that, oh man, she made me lose my train of thought. Um, anyways, we speak these things into our life, right? We speak into our life everything because the more you speak it, the more you start to recognize it. If you say, oh, I want this car, and you start talking about this car, oh man, this car is so smooth, this car's engine is good, this is that, I love this color. If I get this car, I'll get that car all over the place, and people in the parking lot have this car. Now you never noticed it before, but you start to notice it after you keep professing it. This is why people tell you, you got to get up in the morning and you got to start saying this and you got to have a vision board. 9 times out of 10, if you make a vision board, you're talking as you make the vision board. You never pay nothing no attention. You never pay that no attention. You just kind of do things involuntarily, and that's what it is. That keeps us from doing a lot of the things that we want to do in life is that we don't pay attention to the fact that we speak everything into existence. We change our mindsets. We have good or bad relationships. We're able to learn things at a high level or not learn them at all. We're able to meet people. We're able to go places. We're able to do a lot of things. As long as we can use our words, we can do that. Now, you want to talk about people that can't speak, right? I don't know the politically correct term to say about people who can't speak, so I'm not even gonna give a thing. Let's say people have an impairment and they can't talk. Well, sign language becomes their words and spells, right? And it's amazing because sign language are all symbols and their movements and motions to show whatever it is that they're trying to express to you. So although they can't speak the words, they can still express what it is that they want to bring into their life. For me, I've always looked at blind people as superheroes because without them being able to see, their other senses are enhanced tenfold, and they are highly receptive to the simple things in life, and the simple things in life become the necessities, and the necessities move them about in this world. And it's one of the number one ways that we're deceived. We're not deceived from words as much as we are sight, as much as we are things that we can see. But be it on the TV or in real life, we can see a woman and look at that woman and be like, oh man, she's attractive. And then we meet her for real, and now we see the inside of her. No, the side. Same thing for a dude. He's ugly on the inside. No, I'm good. And now you got all of these other people that see that person and see the exterior, and they don't see the interior like you do. Because you've talked to that person, you got to know them. So sight and vision is a way that we're deceived more than anything. That's why we have all of the things that we have that are enhancements. From makeup and beauty regimen things all the way down to the car you drive or the house you live in, or the clothes you wear. All of it's not necessarily a facade, but it just because they uh, becomes imperative to them, which is why conversation became so important to me. So I'm gonna make this quick because I only got a couple of minutes left. Conversation became so important to me after talking to numerous blind people in the VA hospital, and just on the street. I know a couple of older people that are blind. They were blind their whole life. You know, they were blind. You all right? Uh, they were blind their whole life, and the conversation I had with these people was a level that I can't even explain to you because they see the world. They have a different vision of the world. They have a different perception of the world because they have to rely on all the rest of their other senses and things like that. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I'll be bringing y'all back another